What's up, guys? This is the Poppin' Politics After Show
Just the guys.
with just the
Yeah, man.
guys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So you here with Logic, Reason, and Mr. Gimpy. Man, we all smoking, man. I don't smoke
Cigars, brother.
cigars.
It's the only thing I'm allowed to smoke, or my woman will kill me. Like
Cigars.
I like sleeping in the bed.
Beta.
Yep.
Beta.
I'll take beta for that one, man. I will.
Uh oh. And then Mr. Reason over here, like mics in his mouth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, I gotta tell you, being on the show with you and Black Chad afterwards is possibly the highlight of my week, man.
Oh yeah.
Now with you two like this is the chill, because we
That's
just
what's
get
up,
to
man.
throw it back and forth and.
Yeah. So I'm working on my studio setup. How do I look?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I like my wide angle. Last week I didn't like it that it was like my face.
Well, I mean, you look like a ninja last week. I thought that was cool. Andy Pierre, this is the after show, the Poppin' Politics after show, where we're actually just responding, and probably adding a little bit more color and a male perspective to what the girls talked about today.
Yes.
But these two clowns were on the show earlier today, so I don't know how much more they didn't get off their chest.
That's what I'm saying.
From what I understand, Black Chad didn't get a lot off his chest. And I tried to provoke him. He's just unprovocable.
No, that's not necessarily it. I knew, no, but it was a very interesting show. How they went about it. I thought it was pretty cool. Every time
you're
and I get
providing these lame reasons and stuff right now, man. You thought it was pretty cool.
It was.
You're not saying anything.
As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted.
You're not saying anything.
You know what? Don't forget I have the power to. Oh, okay. Don't forget, man. That's my job.
I can add myself back.
That's my job.
Yeah, I'm the only one who's powerless in this room right now. I just like
you
to
are.
point that out.
No, oh boy, I can't bring myself.
Hey,
back
how
in
about
here.
that, man? How's that for racism, right? The black guys have the power.
Yeah, man. Last week I found out I am a part of the black community.
Hey, a little bit light skinned.
Hey, look, you know that everybody thought my ex-wife was black for no apparent reason whatsoever.
Yeah, really?
You didn't hear that when you was over at the barbecue?
Yeah.
Wait. What did everyone think?
So everybody thinks that my ex-wife, who is the whitest Jewish girl of all time,
no way.
Black.
Dude,
Yeah.
I thought your ex-wife was black.
Now, why did she?
I wasn't even there. I didn't even.
Hold on.
Make it to that
How
event.
did you get she was black?
Because of all of his past stories have just. Okay,
So you're
I'll put
racist.
it like this.
You're
I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this, bro. If everybody thought she was black,
So
there
you're saying
must have been
black
something.
women act a certain way? Is that what you're saying?
I know black women act a certain way, bro. Like I know that for a fact.
Oh, come on.
so
You
you're
gotta
saying-
not take shots at her, man.
So you
She
saying
tries
black,
hard. She tries hard.
so you're saying black women act a certain way,
Absolutely.
and based on Gimpy's description of the woman, he
No,
was describing a black
Based
woman.
on Gimpy's
still
description,
going to
everybody
the hell
was
after
under the
this,
false
though.
presupposition that she was. He even said that. Everybody.
Everybody. And people, not to say anything, but people like friends of Yana, before they met me, thought I was black.
They thought you were black.
They thought you were
Yeah.
black?
Man, if listening to you, I would never think you were black.
Never.
I know. I sound like someone is crawling out my nose.
You sound like a Jewish New Yorker. Like that's,
No, you definitely sound like a
Thank
New
you.
Yorker. I don't know
You
what
sound like
I don't know
no,
if Jewish has a
You
sound,
guys should
but
see
you do
me
sound like
after
a
I
New
go
Yorker.
home for a few days.
Oh my goodness.
what happens?
I have no R's left in my dictionary. It's all mutta. My whole family makes fun of me how bad my New York accent is after I go home.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's get into some of this stuff tonight, man. We got a lot of stuff going on in this country. We actually got some breaking news right now. Did you guys see about this? There's a shooter, active shooter this left 5 dead, including the suspect. So there was 4 others, and the suspect after an active shooter in Oklahoma. in a hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, that's got to be equally as bad as a school, in my opinion. Shooting up a hospital is like these people are there to get better, and they're getting dead.
Yeah,
Getting dead.
So is this a new trend that we're going to see? Like, what's the end game now with all these shootings? Is this copycat hour? Like, is it a narrative being pushed? Like, what's going on?
I mean, I feel like let's go ahead, Chad. It's your
no. It's just I'm thinking copycat hour. I think yes. It's bad. People are in need of attention. What's big right now? Mass shootings.
So
I just think it's sad. That's all. I just think it's incredibly sad.
I mean, things like this make me believe your comment that we're born into a world of evil is true.
We definitely are.
But I firmly disagree with you. And
of course, yeah. I mean, some people call it sin. Some people call it sin.
Knocks me.
Evil.
It knocks my resolve on that. It's out of hand, bro. It is. We're at a point where I feel like people are like not stable to a point that you could get rid of all the guns on the planet. It's not going to change how violent we are towards each other.
So one thing that came up on the Pop and Politics show was the age to own weapons and the age to own guns.
So
and arbitrary. I think, we showed something before as well that back in the 70s, kids used to take their rifles and guns to school. And there were very few instances of mass shootings. There was very few gun deaths or anything like that. But now we're saying people are more immature. We want to raise the age for guns. And it seems like now with all the gun laws, there's more shooting. So what can we make of that?
Well, I mean, go ahead, Black. Chad.
No. I mean, we're going to say raise the age for guns. So, are we talking about raising the age to purchase
guns? Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Because because I'm sitting here like I know, for example, my daughter's like, Dad, when can I get to go to the range with you? You know what I mean? She's ready to go. Her Nerf collection is huge because she doesn't think I'm serious. She's ready to go. I don't know. Yeah, you see? Understood. Yeah.
So, I mean, what do we do? I mean, there's a mass shooting going on right now. First off, do you think this will get the same attention as Buffalo, as Uvalde?
It depends on who the shooter was. Like, if it's a white shooter, it's going to be blasted everywhere. If it's not,
then he said that they're saying it's a black.
So let's see who it is, because I think they have it here. Yeah. So authorities said they believe the shooter died of a self-inflicted gunshot. They have yet. He Plaxico buried himself. They have yet to identify him, but said he is a black man, estimated to be around 35 to 40 years old. Police.
Okay,
so these mass shooters aren't 18.
And also because of that information, it's not going to last a news cycle.
So I don't want to sound cold. I don't want to sound cold with this, but what's going to happen to this story?
It's going to disappear. That's what
I
said.
They have a white guy to pile on the nine before, like I was saying, man.
Yeah, black mass shooter doesn't fit the narrative. Black handgun killing another black person, that fits a narrative. But black mass shooter,
they don't feature. They just talk about how many people get killed over the weekend, and then they move to the next weekend. Nothing fucking changes. Sorry, nothing.
Yeah. But what's the next weekend? The same thing.
Right, but it doesn't. But that's what I'm saying. It's like it doesn't matter. The argument. They don't talk about gun laws in terms of normal homicide. They only talk about it when it fits the mass shooter narrative. They're not talking about like the fact in the matter is that like the places that are the most restrictive gun laws have some of the highest rates of gun crime. I mean, the reality is you like to say Democrats run the city. Like, I don't care about that anymore. I don't care who's in charge, because I don't think that either side, the leaders, are doing anything to address any of the underlying causes. Because
I
to
think
answer your question, Giovanni, the difference between the 70s and now is we have no families left.
Facts.
I can agree with that.
Facts.
So hold on, I'm about to share this one more time. So again, I don't want to sound cold or anything like that, but this is Baltimore just a couple weeks ago. 2 mass shootings occur hours apart in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of yellow tags.
It really is.
two mass shootings, but how many people heard about this? CNN didn't have wall-to-wall coverage. We didn't say, even with these, we weren't rallying to change. Well, the mayor is, but it wasn't like a national debate of changing gun laws and like what we see in Canada now. Like, what's the difference?
A couple of things. We're getting to a point in which it is now. People are starting to become. It's sad. People are starting to become numb to seeing mass shootings.
Well, is Baltimore already numb to this? Are we already numb to this here in Baltimore? Like, what's the deal?
Understand what's being shown are shown on national stations. Baltimore isn't under a rock. But they're not showing the
mass shootings in Baltimore. They don't know about this stuff in California. We know about Buffalo. We know about Buffalo
in California.
No, we know about Buffalo. We know about Uvalde. We know about Oklahoma now.
Okay.
But this is happening on a regular basis in Baltimore, but nobody's talking about it nationally.
I mean, the mayor said things are getting better. What are you talking about? The mayor said because we're reducing the amount. Like, he framed it that, like, 2 months ago we were 20% year over year more murders. Then we're like 10%. Now we're only like 3% this month year over year for murders, and that's improvement. Somehow that we still have more murders this year at the same last. It's
the numbers are skewed, right? So right now they want to go by just raw numbers, right? Like, if we look at 200 last year versus 200 this year, right? That's raw numbers, but we're not factoring in the rate. The rate now is higher, even at the same number, or even if, quite frankly, if a little bit less, because people are leaving Baltimore in droves. So we're not counting in population loss, right? 300 murders for 100,000 people is let me say this: 300 murders per 200,000 people. If you then have 100,000 people, that 300 murders is a much higher rate. It's double the rate. It's hard to do the math in my head. But we're not factoring in that. So the murder rate is actually climbing right now because people are escaping Baltimore, right? People are leaving. And it's not just white people. It's a lot of black people want to raise up their families and get out of town. And it's a lot of people who were fighting to see about better Baltimore that are leaving too.
How many people do you think left between 2010 and 2020 from Baltimore?
Like net loss?
35,000 people lost in that decade.
So that's 3,000 a year.
It's about 3,000 a year.
That's just over 3,000 a year.
Yeah.
So is this intentional? And the reason I'm saying this is because look at what's happening with Hopkins. Hopkins has purchased the north side, 5-6 blocks. They're switching out. They're moving people out. They're building. Then they're moving the doctors and nurses into those places behind them. Bayview's doing the exact same thing. So is this intentional? Because let's be real here. If there's blood on the streets, bye.
Well, it could be. I mean, I think there's some backroom deals that's gone on down in City Hall. I mean, we know that, but I do believe that this is a plan. And I posted a video and I reposted it today on my personal Facebook page, and it's on my public page about how I believe the powers that be want to get the population down to about 350,000 people in Baltimore.
That's
for,
half almost.
for a reset. And I think they're
really
on their way to doing it. Huh?
Is that real? I mean, so I'm looking in 2020, there are 600, just over 600,000 and change.
No, so now in 2022, there's probably like 580,000. The numbers have gone down significantly.
And what does a reset account for exactly?
Well, I think Baltimore is a model city for the left because now you're going to have this extremely wealthy class and this extremely poor class. So people are going to move to Baltimore to say, "Hey, look what I did for all those poor black people." Meanwhile, you're going to have a lot of black people that are suffering. So you're going to have all these bougie people feeling good about moving to Baltimore, and then you're going to have this struggling class that's struggling to keep up. You're still not going to have jobs. It's just going to be like
a bifurcated society, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what they want in the Great Reset. That's not a conspiracy theory. I mean, that's what their goal is, basically. I mean, they say it without, we're not allowed to say they say it, but I'm saying, like, that's what they want is like that the cities are one thing and the areas surrounding them are another altogether.
Yeah.
I could have sworn about a decade ago there was and I'm going to see if I could look up the article. What about a decade ago there was an article that came out that said Baltimore, Inner Harbor, north all the way up to like Charles Village was going to be like one of the brand new cities. Like they were going to do some incredible stuff with Baltimore. Like and it's been happening.
Look at Port Covington. They built a new city down there that nobody wants to come to. And then what's the bad part about it is the taxpayer is going to be on the hook for it. Look, Port Covington. Have you guys driven down there right now? I mean, lately.
No, I haven't.
No, not at all.
Down Hanover Street, like
I can help it honestly these days.
Man, by the I think there's a whiskey place down there. It was the rye place. By next to the Baltimore Sun.
Oh, okay, I know.
Yeah.
Right, so they done built a whole new city down there, and they have yet to secure one lease for any of the properties down there.
Really?
And it's supposed to open up this year. Developers and people are backing out. And here's the thing: it was financed. Well, there was incentives to build, so they used the tax increment financing to build it. But now, because there's not going to be any revenue coming into those buildings, there's not going to be any way for them to essentially pay taxes. So what's happening now is that the Baltimore City taxpayer is going to be on the hook for the taxes that they, essentially
lost.
Lost.
Dude, that place looks incredible.
I mean, if it looks like that, does it really look like that?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's starting to take shape now.
Right. Here we go.
Can I see a picture of it?
Those are mock-ups, man. Those are mock-ups.
Yeah, those are all wannabe drawings. Let me see a real picture of what it looks like. It should be a bunch of empty lots, honestly, what you're talking about.
Hold on.
No, you just gotta go down there, man. Maybe we could take some pictures, but
well,
the goal is to overwhelm the system, man. They and that's what's going on, man. But I do want to talk about something else. I don't know yet. I don't know what yet though.
Dude, look, I think the world is batshit insane. I don't know if you heard about it, but in Anne Arundel today, 2 mail trucks got into a fight, and the mail carriers were throwing mail at each other.
That's got to be.
That's
part of where they dudes.
That's ridiculous.
I have no idea. I just saw something quick in my community Facebook thing, but like literally 2 mail carriers attacked each other with mail and drove mail carts into each other. They posted a picture of it in my, my community, my Stony Beach community Facebook. Literally cops everywhere, and these 2 mail trucks on the side of the road with mail everywhere. Like, I'm sorry, like, there's a sanity level that's just missing in the world today, and there has to be something to it because, I've seen this argument that the United States isn't by rate isn't the most deadly mass shooting place either. There are places in the world that per capita are worse. in Europe and stuff. I don't really pay attention to that because, again, I think it's all just playing with numbers and whatever.
Yeah.
But like, there has to be something else going on with our society as a whole.
People are in a trance, man. People are literally in a trance.
So how do you fix it?
Well, I mean, you can try to knock them out, or push them over. Just
you're ridiculous.
Rhetorically speaking, right? Like
trance, as in what? As in they've gone numb to it.
No, I mean, yeah, people are really walking around here in a trance. Like you become numb to this stuff. You call up, down, and left, white. Like this is people
left,
are left or white.
Yeah, like people are walking around just oblivious to reality. Like you're living in like this state of like people are living in the state of hypnosis full time. And if you try to knock them out of it, just try to wake someone up. Like, they get mad at you. They try to start, bashing you or whatever. But people right now are in a trance, man. That's the only way I can describe it.
Dude, even fact checker, right? Like there was this whole thing in court recently where the fact checkers had to admit that they're just opinions. So like you have everything from Tucker Carlson not being news because the lawyers say in court to protect him that he's entertainment, why would anybody believe it, to the people who are supposed to be controlling the truth being opinion. So like everything is this my truth shit. Like you want to say that it's a trance. I think it goes beyond that even. I think that we're actively engaged in denying reality as a society.
And what happens? What's the response that someone gives if you try to wake them up?
Oh, they get mad, man. No one wants to come out of their bubble, their echo chambers. On both sides. Like that's my whole thing lately. It's like everybody on all sides of every argument are just in their corner with their wagons circled, and that's all they want. Like, how are we ever going to solve? And if you can't make the economy work for people either, where you have the leaders of the country saying everything is great because the millionaires are making money, right? Like they like to talk that the household income or savings is good, right? When like we're struggling to pay. Like, dude, I bought a month. I did my monthly shopping at Costco that we do every month. Dude, I barely bought anything.
I mean, you monthly shop every month?
Like. Yeah, so I do one run a month to Costco for like the bulk goods that we buy.
But monthly every month?
Oh yes, monthly every month. I know.
Okay.
I sound like an idiot.
Oh, jeez.
It's as good as left is white.
Yeah, exactly.
I said that on purpose, though.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but
he's
like,
careful with my words.
How can you say things are good when literally they're not? When to buy a tank of gas is literally like crushing. Especially
you have to be in a trance to believe that. You have to be in a trance to believe that.
What, to believe that things are good?
But how do you fix it at this point?
Well, it takes a few people to start knocking people over and wake them up.
Yeah, but you gotta knock the right people over.
I mean, just try to knock everybody over. Everybody.
No.
I mean, and don't. I'm not trying to call for violence or anything, but I am just saying.
Metaphorically.
Speak up. Like, look, dude. Like, you're heading into a ditch. You gotta wake up.
It's the allegory of the cave on a massive scale. Do you guys know the allegory of the cave?
No, you gotta tell me.
So the allegory of the cave, I think it's Plato or Aristotle, one of the two. It's a Greek thing where everybody's chained in a cave in front of a fire, facing the wall, looking at their own shadow. One dude breaks free, turns around, sees that it's a fire, walks out of the cave and finds the light. Then he comes down and he tries to enlighten everybody in the cave that they're prisoners in this cave and they need to undo their bonds and come out to the light. And they all shun that one person.
Yeah.
That's the allegory of the cave.
No, I mean, it sounds like leaving the Democrat Party as a black person.
I mean, that's very fair. But, like, how do you convince the people that they're shackled when they don't want to hear it? Like, people do not want to hear that they're trapped in their party politics. Like, for example, on the Republican, because we bash Democrats a lot, and I understand why we do, because they're pretty much toxic as hell. I get it. But, like, on the Republican side, if you say something like, I don't want Trump to run in 2024, even if you were a Trump supporter before this, somehow you're, like, ostracized and you're an anti-Trumper. Even if you're not anti-Trump, you're just looking to move forward. like into the future, like you're a DeSantis guy or something, and you
Yeah.
think he's more, you can't like move outside of the pre-approved narrow paths.
Yeah.
Especially in our culture. I mean, if you try to do anything that's free thinking, period, I mean, just be prepared to be considered a traitor to your race.
Or the doubling down when you're wrong. This whole concept that if I repeat the idiocy that I hold true enough, then it makes it true.
Yeah.
Shame, guilt, insults need to be right.
So what else did you guys want to say about this gun debate? I want to go back to that real quick.
Oh, I'll say it one more time. I'll jump all over that. You know, me and guns. Yeah, that I swear. And I talked to, and you know, down in Baltimore City, I talked to near Sinai Hospital. I talked to a bunch of officers down there, and I'm like, look, you want to fix gun violence? Guess what? More guns.
Yeah, if grandma had a deagle in her purse, no one would rob grandma.
Absolutely.
I agree with that, but at
That's
the same
gonna
token, you have so many. How can you do that with an like again? I agree with you, but even if I agree with you, the reality is we have so many broken people. Giving them the ability to shoot each other is not necessarily going to solve the problem.
Yeah, and I get it, but you guys are missing the point again. I said the end result does not always have to be shooting. But
no.
So hold on. I think there's another part that's missing here too. Is that there will be, for a period of time,
there will be blood.
There will be more violence when it occurs, because you're going to see people just kind of test the limits. That's how we get to these more strict gun laws, essentially handicapping law-abiding citizens, is because, you know, we look, laws only affect the law-abiding.
Yes.
Until you essentially force the law-abiding to become criminals themselves, because they can no longer tolerate the laws.
Become ungovernable.
Right. So what's going to happen is when you enable more people to protect themselves, there's going to be more opportunities for protection, because people are going to test the limits of that. And when they realize, oh, whoa, this ain't the route we want to go, that's when it'll calm down. Because like kids do it all the time. And this is a big reason I believe politicians should have some type of skin in the game, whether it's owning a house, owning a business, or having kids and having families. If you don't have none of those, you really shouldn't be in politics, because you don't know, you really don't know how life works. Or we have politicians now essentially just trying to be like the babysitter, or that really just like a stranger that gives candy to the baby to quiet them down. No, that's not how society and people works. When you're a parent, when you run a business, when you've even worked a job, you can really start to realize some of the things, particularly customer service. But and particularly having children, you realize that. But right now we have these politicians really just giving candy to babies to quiet them down.
Yeah, you should literally, if you're in the city, you should have a child that goes to a city school. Look.
See, I think the whole public, like, again, I don't disagree with your concept, but I think that we're beyond these steps. Like, my problem is that we're beyond these steps. Mm-hmm. Like, these are things we had to do 20 years ago. We're so far down this rabbit hole of destruction and violence, and like you hear people saying Call of Duty is what's causing murder. I mean, ridiculous. I've been playing first person shooters since I'm like 7, like Doom.
Are you any good? Are you any good?
Doom. He said Doom.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm old enough to remember Wolfenstein and stuff when it came out. Like, I don't remember a single kid in growing up that played one of those video games that said, hey, because I could shoot some demon looking thing in this, now I'm going to go out and start shooting people. Like, we're at a critical mass moment. We need more drastic.
So look, I do believe things will get worse
before they
get better
mm-hmm.
if we arm the populace. And that period of it, it's like this, right? And if you want to grow, you have to go through some sort of pain, right? Gimpy,
You understand there are like 350 million guns in the United States, legal guns.
I get it, and let's talk about the illegal ones in places like Baltimore and Chicago. Are the law-abiding citizens the ones shooting people in these cities that are gun-free zones and guns are banned and there's no open carry?
No, not at all. Do you know? And there are 25 states in the United States right now that are constitutional carry, and guess what? You don't have violent gun violence. You don't.
You don't. No, I get it.
The people that are doing the stuff wrong should ask the people that are doing the stuff right, humble themselves, and be like, how did you fix these problems?
Nobody wants to admit they're wrong.
Hi, my name's Chadwick. I'm an alcoholic. Dude, that's the first step. You gotta admit that you have a problem.
Right, but again, that goes back to, like, that's what I'm saying. We're at a point where the echo chambers and the tribalism and the partisanship is so huge. Like, for example, you have Republicans who hate Trump so much, they will side with political opponents for the sheer sake of just taking shots at what they call ultra MAGA. Like, how does that solve the problem? How are we getting any closer to solutions when these are the leadership class doesn't engage in any way to fix anything? I'm not kidding. Dan Crenshaw, he's not a bad guy, but the guy is all like, one day he's talking red flag laws, the next day he's saying stuff on that CNN interview, KJ Love. And what he said on that CNN interview isn't bad, but like, only because your polling didn't agree with the red flag law, all of a sudden you back off that stuff. And Tyrone Keys made a comment that red flag laws violate your 4th and 5th Amendment rights. You know, like, so where are we going to make somewhere? We have to find some, like, we just keep running in this circle.
Well, how many crimes have red flag laws stopped? Because, you know, if I read
again, I'm not saying red flag laws are the answer. I'm just saying, like, they like red flag laws is the big new thing that they started promoting to try and curb gun violence.
But didn't the FBI know about this guy in Buffalo? Didn't they know about him?
Sure, they knew about him.
And according to reports, the Uvalde guy didn't really have any background, anything on his background.
That's not true. Kids in his class talked about him being a bully, that he was mad that his bullying didn't work.
But that's not a public record, you know.
Yeah, but that's community. That's where the community. That's what I mean. It's like we're so partisan. Like, how many of your neighbors do you know?
Most of them.
Okay. Now, how many of them do you do things with? Are you engaged with regularly?
I mean, I try to talk to them pretty much every day.
Right. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Community engagement with your neighbors and your peers. Because I walk my dogs 4 or 5 times a day. Everybody here by me knows me. They recognize me. I engage with them. I don't care what their political beliefs are. I don't care if they're gay, straight, trans. None of that matters because they're my community. I'm trying to engage with them.
Uh-huh.
We need more of that and less of my political leanings mean A, B, or C. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm trying to say is we need more drastic, direct intervention at home.
All right, so we're speaking more about this gun stuff. Hey, why hit that like button, subscribe, and follow us? Like, we try to have some fun on here. But I want to go to something Mr. Chia Pet said. Play this video real quick.
Do you think that your administration
can have a summer of peace given what we've seen in the track record so far?
I think that's a ridiculous question. I think that your station in particular has to understand that this is not a hashtag. And what we're understanding is that we're going to work every day to make sure that violence does not happen wherever we can prevent it. But we ultimately also have to understand personal responsibility. What's the personal responsibility? When are we going to also call on people to check on what's going on with their young people?
I thought
to make sure that they know what their young people are into. When are we going to have a conversation about how everybody, including your station, can play a part in reducing violence instead of spreading this hatred, spreading this violence, spreading these hashtags, spreading all the nonsense that we see?
I'm curious. I thought this man said he had a 5-year plan that would solve all this. We're 2 years into that 5-year plan. Shit looks the same as it did in the two. Has Safe Streets changed the game? Like, is Baltimore safer because of Safe Streets? Is
Safe Streets is a federally funded a federally funded criminal organization.
But that's what I'm saying. Like he has to be willing to admit his 5-year plan isn't doing it at 2 years in. Why do we got to wait for 3 more years of death?
Well, you got to realize this is not a hashtag, and this is about personal responsibility, and it's your station needs to get on board on what we're doing.
Dude, you're the mayor of Baltimore. You are ultimately where the buck stops, buddy.
Oh, no, that's the governor.
Dude, but like that's my thing. I'm a personal responsibility. You're responsible.
So he is right about the personal responsibility, but he's misguided in it.
Right, because he's not owning his station as the mayor.
Right. I mean, look. Here's the thing. Here's my thought about the whole personal responsibility thing too. Right. If it's personal responsibility, you tell that to the business owner that has to deal with the drug addicts in front of their door. And when they call you, there's nothing that they can do. They can't really protect themselves anymore. How's that for personal responsibility? It's like the only personal responsibility he's talking about is just saying, follow what I'm doing, get on board with what I'm doing as mayor, join Safe Streets, join Monsi or whatever government memberships you can have, because his way is the only way to get through this.
And unfortunately, nothing is happening. And unfortunately, it's not getting anywhere. Why is 300 the number? I mean, 300's been the number for over 10 years now. Whatever people have been doing isn't working. You have to try something else. I don't know. Why don't we make Maryland something like a stand your ground state? Or why don't we, there's got to be something that this is insanity by its definition.
And also, I think the other part about this is like, what the crime is the way it is, like he's expecting every single person in Baltimore to get involved to quote unquote solve crime, right? People want to be able to just like, this isn't normal. Like you shouldn't have to worry about this stuff. Like people just want to be able to send their kids to schools, go to work, have their trash picked up, have a barbecue with their friends. Like solving crime, preventing crime isn't part of their agenda because it's just supposed to be something that's kind of understood in the community. That's why I say people are living in a trance, because this isn't normal.
Dude, and what if he has 299 murders this year instead of 300?
I guarantee
it's still too many.
No,
that's what I'm saying. Like, is that really?
He'll say it's a success.
Yeah, but like what? So KJ's commenting. What about community policing? What is community policing? Honestly?
So what I've learned is that, and I was doing a live with someone, and it's the term policing that offends a lot of Black people.
Why?
They said, I said, look, we need to bring a little bit, we need to bring fathers into the schools to, just do a walk around, that to curb some of the violence that's going on in the school, because the presence of fathers changes the game. They did it down in, I think it was Louisiana with the Dads United.
I remember that.
Or with Dads on Duty, I think it was, where they were having fights at the school, and as soon as the dad showed up, it just stopped. It just stopped. Like it wasn't a program, it wasn't a process. It just stopped.
But then you need fathers to show up.
Yeah, but what was presented to me, it was like, well, we don't need dads to just police. What do you mean? They're not policing. They're being dads.
Just being present.
Right. But if you want to call that policing, call it policing, because dads will say something if you're getting out of line.
But we have a society that doesn't support family anymore. It's all.
We also have. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I feel like a broken record. I think these are macro problems that we're trying to solve with micro solutions.
Absolutely, it's not only that it's an attack on masculinity in general. I mean,
so,
you get a little too, dads say a little too much, then it's you're being toxically masculine.
The Black Republican theory writes, the mayor has completely abdicated responsibility. He's definitely acknowledged that we are on our own in our communities. Moreover, we pay taxes for him to do the work. And
if we are on our own, then you know what? Don't
Give 'em
don't be
guns.
upset when someone tries to break into my house and I handle it before calling you.
no, they're gonna get you, bro. Look,
Yeah,
it's
I
the
understand that.
law-abiding
I get
citizens.
that.
It's the
I get that.
law-abiding citizens that are paying the most. Right,
Mhm.
right now, cops can't stop the prostitution. They can't stop the drug deals. They can't stop any. But if you have
Even if they
a freaking
could,
tag light, if your tag light is out, guess what? They got you, buddy. If you have your sticker wrong, well, maybe not so much in Baltimore anymore, but if you have the date sticker wrong on your tags on your car, they're more liable to get you for that than the literal sex trafficking that's going on Garrison Boulevard right now.
See,
Damn, he called out the street itself. He said it's on Garrison Boulevard.
no, dude. To be fair, what I think the biggest problem is that government went like not that. Look, we have to remember that freedom is an aberration in history. What we have as far as freedom and liberty in the United States is a relatively new concept in the history of mankind.
Yeah.
Like the ability. So there's a responsibility, like Reagan said, you're always one generation away from tyranny, blah, 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 that whole nonsense. That it's not nonsense, it's very important. But like what I'm saying to that is that like we have to take those things real. Like we have to understand them literally. That these things have to be addressed at those levels. That like you literally are one bad day. Like I don't know how many of you guys are Batman fans, but the Joker always said you're one bad day from like the Batman. He said that you're one bad day from becoming me.
I'm sorry, like I am not a big not show tune, but just like cartoons and like we were talking today about Star Trek and y'all called me something.
The Cisco.
The Cisco. I have no clue what you're talking about.
So on Deep Space Nine, the main character, like the cat, right? Like
now you're gonna go into it. No,
so that's who you are, the guy from Deep Space Nine.
I'm supposed to be the guy from the guy from Deep Space Nine. He's a black guy though. I looked him up.
Yeah.
So he seems like a decent dude.
But no, but there has to be a point in time where we start changing everything as a whole on a macro level. We have to start implementing education for education's sake, not for social justice sake. We have to stop worrying about things that happened 100 years ago and start worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow. Like everybody's.
Well, when you do that, you break the system. You break what you're literally talking about breaking down. Everything that's built up. Over the past 60 to 100 years.
Just saying.
Look, you're talking about breaking down everything that's been going on over the past literally 100 years now.
But that's what I mean. Like we're so fixated on look, and I don't mean it in a bad way. Every group is guilty of it today. We are so busy looking to right wrongs that happened in the past instead of righting the wrongs that are happening in the present. Right? Like we are not mindful of the present the way we're supposed to be. Because we're so busy trying to address historical wrongs and things like that. We have to like address the problems as it is. We need policing to police. We need district attorneys to prosecute. We need court systems to deal justice properly. And again, it all comes from the fact that government is business now. People go into government broke and they come out millionaires.
Yep.
You should not be able to become a millionaire being a publicly elected civil servant. That just doesn't make sense.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
You're not going to fix any problems when it's in my best interest to allow the problems to continue so I can keep getting paid.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, how are they making all this money though too? When I don't know.
Dude, for example, Congress, it's easy. How can Congress trade stocks when they can control how the markets function? Like, you should not be allowed. Like, we get mad, but to be fair, and I hate Mitt Romney, but when he ran for president, he put his entire wealth in a double-blind trust that he could have no hand in how it was invested while he was running for president. You know what I mean? Like, you can have money and go into pop, but you can't. Nancy Pelosi is like plus 500% on her stock trading. How does that make? This lady has inside track information that no American gets to see. How are you?
Man, it's Atlas Shrugged all over, man. So let me pause for a second. Any books that you would recommend everybody kind of pick up? Just you know, a mind opening book or something that may or just something fun.
You may never have heard of this, but it's called Color, Communism, and Common Sense. I recommend everybody
Incredible
should
book.
read it.
It is an incredible book.
It's an incredible book. But there are a lot of books like so.
I'm saying like
okay.
yeah.
So I'm a classics guy. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote a book. Really, it's a collections of letters he sent to his son. It's called Meditations. It's not a long book. It's a philosophical book, but it teaches about what's a man supposed to be. Like what makes someone worthy of being Caesar.
Yeah.
Like these are the things we should be focusing on our moral character. We shouldn't be arguing what constitutes the beginning of life. We should just be celebrating the beginning of life. It shouldn't be an argument. Life starts here or it starts there. Life is life. The minute we're arguing about it, it's already a life.
Wow. That's amazing.
Nice.
So what's the name of that book again?
Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.
Can you write that in the chat or something?
Hold on.
Guys, pick that book up. Chat, what you got? Like, what's a book that you would recommend? Mind opening, mind expanding.
Wow, that's a lot.
I know you used to read a book a day or something like that. A book a week.
It's a book a week, and it's now about every 2 weeks. I always start with Frank E. Peretti's "This Present Darkness," followed by "Piercing the Darkness." Frank E. Peretti. I would also say.
No, just give one. Just give one. We don't need to get overwhelmed right now.
One more. Last one. Wonderful book called "The 48 Laws of Power." I recommend that to any and everybody. And also one called "Color, Communism, and Common Sense."
Yes. Color, Communism, Common Sense.
Color,
is the
Communism,
book of Metro
Common Sense.
Conservative Media. We all love that book over here. Use the link. It helps our network.
Yeah, so
but one more I just want to throw out there is How to Lie Using Statistics. That's also a very important book, so people can understand how the numbers they're fed every day are not what we think they are. That's to me that's a big book, because when I read that I understood how that stuff, like how they use numbers to keep us prisoner.
Wow.
Black Republican Theory says, same thing. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. Now, that's a tough read. I don't know if anybody ever picked up that book. It's written like in Old English. Black Republican Theory, he's a lawyer, and you got to check out his channel as well. Make sure you guys follow Black Republican Theory. He's actually in Baltimore.
Nice.
He's a never Trumper. But he's he's getting his I think he either has it or is getting his law degree in JD and everything like that. So definitely check out.
Being against Trump, by the way, as a guy who supports.
I'm joking.
No, but I'm just saying, like, this is something that we have to accept. Is that not
everything's not so serious, man? You gotta like that.
That's a big thing in our party. There's that dude on Twitter. There are a bunch of dudes on Twitter who post all the time that get disregarded just because they don't support Trump anymore. They were supporting him and now they won't. Like, we have to get beyond that stuff. Like,
I mean, you're right, but right now, man, just laugh a little bit. Like we got to go back to laughing. Like stuff is funny.
Sure,
stuff is funny. Just let it be funny every now and then. But I am going to reiterate Color, Communism, Common Sense as a book. Also, I do recommend everyone check out the Tuttle Twins book.
The Tuttle Twins, yeah.
Because, and I had to put the link in the chat for those, but they offer children's books that talk. They're really for adults too, but they offer children's book that talk about a lot of the principles of the systems that are happening today. I mean, they talk about Federal Reserve System. They talk about inflation. They talk about a free market economy, and it's a really good way to, teach children and yourself, because, if a lot of times children's books are the best way to, kind of understand and simplify the concept. And if you're new to what inflation is, definitely check out the Tuttle Twins book. If you're new to, Federal Reserve, all that stuff. Check them out. So Reason, didn't your daughter get some of the books or?
Yes, she did. She did, and believe it or not, she likes them. She's like, "Oh, this is actually interesting."
Yeah, they have a show too.
About
They have a show on YouTube.
yes, yes, you're right. It's
The Total Twins.
yeah. No, I'm thinking it's a cartoon.
Yeah, it's a cartoon.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, she's seen a couple of those, but the books, yes, the books she's made it through a couple of them as well. So yeah,
Awesome.
I would highly recommend.
Yeah, my daughter
definitely
my
recommend.
daughter loves them.
By the way, side note, you were talking about inflation in the Federal Reserve. You heard about Janet Yellen, right? Today.
No, what happened?
So she admits that she said that what she said about inflation last year, that she was wrong in her assessments and whatever. And
oh, was she the one that said she didn't know printing money caused inflation?
yeah, she's our secretary of the treasury or whatever, right? And you have these people who are being the gatekeepers of our economy, who are coming out and telling you they didn't think that printing trillions of dollars with no backing for no reason would have caused this. Like somehow, what the common sense answer that the layman, that you just keep printing money, that the value of money would just go down.
I think if you didn't call it quantitative easing, she might get it.
Yeah, but they're in charge of those policies. Like,
and also she might have been an affirmative action hire.
No, she's a old white lady, man.
Oh, affirmative action. Well, side note for you guys, cutting in real quick, just in case you guys don't know, we are MCM Metro Conservative Media, where we are a necessary voice for news and entertainment. Don't forget to follow us on www.metroconservativemedia.com. Wednesday night, we do Pop and Politics, followed by The Gentleman, talking about what the show was about. Thursday night, we do the 8:30 show with KJ, and we also occasionally do Great Thoughts Matter, so check in for that as well. Once again, we are www.metroconservativemedia.com. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check us out, you guys. We greatly appreciate you. Thank you very much.
And full disclosure, these links that I put in for Total Twins and particularly to Color Communism, Common Sense, if you do purchase those, they do help support the channel. So I do encourage you all to click those links and buy those books. I do believe there's actually a sale going on right now on the Total Twins books, particularly talking about inflation. But just head over to the site and check it out. Check them out. They're pretty good. So I wanted to kind of rant for a little bit because before we get off here, because I believe what we're seeing today is a takedown of the fabric of America, and the weapons that were to defend each aspect of the fabric of America. So when I speak of the fabric of America, I talk about it's built on the principles of faith, family, and freedom. And with that, faith, the weapon that protected faith was God. And when we look at the public square, God has been all but killed. We took prayer out of schools. We took, 10 Commandments and everything from government buildings. It's almost illegal to fly a Christian flag anywhere. So God has been removed essentially from our country. The second thing is family. So the weapon in family is fathers. And what we've seen now is that fathers have been so strategically targeted to be removed from the homes. And I say this, if you ever want to destroy a village, if you want to ransack a community, you take out the fathers first, right? You take out the men. And then now we're looking at the freedom. What is the last piece that will protect our freedom? And that's our guns. That is the ability to stand up against tyranny, to stand up against a tyrannical government. And now that is the last stand to essentially take down and destroy America. To me, America is built on faith, family, and freedom. And each one of those, had a weapon or something, a defense mechanism that has ultimately at this point been destroyed.
I just want to say I am safe from Chad. Black Chad cannot get me with his army of Nerf guns. I am ready. Next time, it's going down. But you're right, 100%. But like without a doubt, family, freedom, faith, those three things are the core of what make Americans American. And the fact that we have moved so far away. I mean, you talk about fathers, but the truth is mothers are also important. And the problem is we have mothers believing that they should carry the burden of fathers and not be mothers, and they should celebrate the anti-mother movement. That's what I think of when it comes to using abortion as a form of birth control. It's glorifying the destruction of motherhood.
Yep.
Like somehow having kids and being a mother is somehow not a good thing for a woman. That's insanity.
Absolutely.
There are important aspects to our society that we need to get back into our society, and that's having fathers and mothers
and men and women are ridiculously different as well, and not just in the
Yeah.
the physical aspect of it, but in the psychological aspect of it. When fathers comes order, with fathers comes discipline. No, well, I mean, it's just that
I'm joking, man. I'm
Yeah, I
joking.
get
man.
you. I know.
He's just
It's just
kidding, man.
people.
He's
People
just
don't
bringing us
understand that.
riled up. He loves to do it.
People just don't understand that dad love and mom love looks very, very, very different, and it's a very careful balance that is necessary.
Dude, you're right. You understand?
It's necessary.
Like being the Jew of the group,
Is that right?
in Judaism, in the Torah, it talks about respecting your father and your mother, and then there's a point where it says you should fear your mother and your father. And Jews believe, like religious Jews believe, that the wording in the Torah is very specific for a reason. So it talks about respecting fathers and mothers in that order, and fearing mother and father in the opposite way. And they, to keep it very short and very simplified. But the reason is that it's easier to respect your mother because they're the loving kind. So it's harder to respect the disciplinarian that the father is, whereas it's easier to fear your father and not to fear your mother. And that demonstrates a measurable difference between men and women. Like we have to respect that there is a difference between men and women, and we have to embrace that. Instead of fighting against the natural order of humanity, we have to start building that natural order. No one's saying mothers or any women are any less important than men. It's that we all have to embrace.
You sure nobody's saying that?
I mean, I'm sure people are saying that.
Don't fall into that.
I know. I can't. He gets me all the time. That look, the Cisco is coming at me again. But seriously, like we are at a point where we just want to turn everything on its head for everyone's individual reason that they have. And instead of working to build up the strengths that we have, we're tearing them down. I mean, you hear people saying some extreme things out there, and it's not going to help us if we live in the extreme. We have to find that. Like I call it the natural order of things. If you left society alone, you wouldn't have a lot of the problems you're running into. You know what I'm saying? Like if you stop trying to force a square block through a circle hole like we're doing.
People are in a trance.
You're stepping on toes. Come on, Gimpy, stepping on toes, man.
People are in a trance.
Dude, I can't help it. And it's like I don't devour. Women offer to the community. I don't think that anyone like man or woman doesn't offer any. Everybody offers something, but we have to embrace our strengths, the things, and we have to stop. Like we have to stop convincing men that being a man is wrong. Like yes, there's just a thing.
You're stepping on toes, man. Come on,
you gotta stop talking about toxic masculinity. Yes, there are always bad apples in every group, but if you talk about it the way we're talking about it, you're going to convince boys that they have no place. And that's why you get these mixed up 18-year-olds walking around, beating up, having bags of dead cats and stuff. Like, and you have to stop convincing women that being part of a family and part of a family structure is some sort of hindrance to their growth and their ability to contribute to the world. Like, there's nothing wrong.
But who's telling women that though?
Feminism.
Feminists.
But it's not men that are telling women that.
I don't know. Have you met some of the males who say they support women?
Well,
they're just trying to get some though.
They're supporting women.
They're just trying to get some though.
Yeah. They're they're showing up into these rallies to think
Your
that
eyes
if
are
they just agree
beautiful.
with the women, they can go sleep with them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but have you ever seen here?
Shoot.
Yo, dude, I have this meme. It's like the Biden voter dude is talking to the Biden voter chick, like, "Oh, we both support Biden," and then all of a sudden she's like, "Hi, honey," and it's this big Trump supporting "Make America Great" hat, dude. It's like, you got like that. They have this fake notion that if they pretend, like if they follow what this is, they're all of a sudden going to gain some positive gains socially. That never works. It never
that's what
plays
they're
out.
about. But it's not men that are saying women are less than, or men that are pushing this narrative.
That's
It's
interesting what you're saying. I'm not cutting you off. Go ahead, but I'm agreeing with you.
it's
That's very
generally
interesting.
women.
It's
It's just
generally women.
like
Absolutely.
here's
Absolutely.
maybe another way to put it, right? Like when ladies get dressed, they're not getting dressed so much so for the men. Like
No.
we like women to look nice and everything,
Yeah.
but that over the top stuff,
It's for other women.
the
It's
being
for other women.
the
Yep.
literal being uncomfortable in your shoes and like that, all of that stuff is for other women. But they're not.
Dude,
I
don't disagree. I
men,
mean,
men are impressed. Just look, we're happy to be next to you.
Well, I wouldn't.
Oh,
I will, however, say that women keep women single. I will just say that, and
some of
leave
the
that
people
at
who
that.
complain about having women bosses the most are other women.
I mean, there's got to be something to say about that. I'm
Mhm.
not.
Again, that's what I'm saying. We've created this backward society where being a woman in a traditional sense, and to quote Ricky Gervais, the one with wounds, if you saw his new special on Netflix, but like, and being men in a traditional sense somehow is this negative thing that brought society down. To be fair, men being men and women being women created the United States of America.
Yes, thank you. Preach.
Like at the end of the
You just
day,
earned your what do reverends get? What's the certification that preachers get to preach?
Well, that depends on which type of church you're talking
Well, that's
about.
what Gimpy just got. He just got his reverend
he was just ordained.
Yeah, ordained. That's what
I
it is.
got my smicha. I became a rabbi right there.
Yeah. So there we go. There it is. I mean,
But
you're a rabbi by proxy anyway, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but
I don't want to insult anything, but
Oh, absolutely. No, you
you're
guys,
a
just so
rabbi
you
by
know,
proxy.
this dude down here, don't let him fool you. He is ridiculously knowledgeable about.
Yeah.
It would blow your it. I mean, but yes, rabbi by abso-freaking-lutely. This guy is knowledgeable.
Pretty much.
Facts.
I
really.
don't like that society has reached a point that everything is backwards. Like up is down, down is right, down is white. I did it. Say, oh my god. But like seriously, we have to reach a point that it is okay to be a man. Like I am not, when I go out in the world, I'm not looking to force my masculinity on anybody. But
what does it feel like to be a man?
It feels like I have a responsibility to carry a burden of making sure I live a moral and straight life and teach others to live a moral and straight life.
Is that what it feels like?
Does that come from masculinity or does that come from your faith?
But my faith teaches a masculinity.
So you feel something being a man?
I do.
Really?
Yes. When I'm a good man, I feel it. I feel better about myself. When I'm doing things that are in line with healthy forms of masculinity, I feel like a more complete person.
I would take everything you just said and remove the word healthy from masculinity because there's nothing wrong with just being masculine.
No, but there's toxic masculinity where you have a dude who thinks that he's a man so he can bully women.
That's true, but is that the majority?
Who cares about the majority? It's the ones they highlight as the freaking problem.
Yeah, it's the ones they highlight. Absolutely, that is the problem.
Like we have to stop looking at like you say that they pick the exceptional rule to make like the exceptional case is why we need to make all these millions of rules to govern an issue like abortion.
The exception never disproves the rule. Ever.
All right, so reason Black Chad or whatever. Mike Lover.
Mike Lover.
He'd be all up on that.
Hey,
That's a
yo.
sexy looking Mikey guy.
Hey, dude, it's the angle, man. I'm not really that close to the mic. I'm about as far away as you
Hey, yo.
are. Whatever, man. Just what's the question?
What's your
Oh,
rant,
my
man?
God.
What do you want to rant about a little bit?
I pretty much got the majority of it out, and the majority of my rants will be the exact same thing. If you want to fix the problems, you have to actually go. And this is in general. I'm not this. You know what? And take this
So
how
you're
you
taking
want
the
to.
Mayor Scott approach to this.
Say again.
You're taking the Mayor Scott approach to this.
So as I was saying, yeah. So
No one can take that
how
approach.
do you
You gotta have
fix a
haircut
problem?
first.
No, dude. Logic looks much more like how you fix a problem is, you know what, you recognize there is a problem. Then you look at the people or the situations or circumstances who have actually fixed those problems. Then you go to those people, you find those situations, you research how they did it, and then you do it. It's really that simple. I mean, we could half of the problems in the United States we have right now could have been fixed a long time ago if specific people in the power to get things done humbled themselves, did the research about or went to places and to find out how people who have already accomplished this did it, and then
So,
ended up doing it themselves.
so then we have to agree on what the problem is, and I don't think we can fundamentally agree on what the problem is.
Yeah, but there'll never be a universal agreement.
There will
That's
never
a
be.
naive mentality to think that we're going to have universal agreement that X is the problem that creates.
I mean, I get that, but
Yeah,
what's the
that's
problem?
the problem. But you know what?
You're
We're
so what
talking about the
Chadwick
solution.
suggested, what Chadwick said is that
The problem is the society is crumbling. That's the problem.
okay.
The
So
problem
what
is society
happened
is
last
evil.
time society crumbled? Because there's people obviously that don't believe society is crumbling. Some people say we're on the right track, particularly socialist, communist people. Like,
I mean, according.
so what's how do you what? So let me ask this: how did we defeat communism before?
We
What's color and
outspent
common
it.
sense? Oh, I'm sorry.
We outspent it.
You outspent.
Yeah, the way we defeated Soviet Union is we spent 6-1 on defense and intelligence. That's literally how we outspent them, and we influx, and we continuously tried to break through what they called the Iron Curtain with capitalist ideas. And over time, because communism doesn't work,
So how do you do that in America?
It's tough because we value individual liberty to such a level that we're willing to sacrifice the whole over it in modern day. I mean, like, even the communists believe in it, even if they don't realize it. They believe in their individual liberty in a way. The Marxists, I would say, that
is Yana going to be approve of you saying this?
I don't know, man. I'll let you know if I end up on the couch tonight. But like, we have to stop. Like, in a sense, we have to use our individual liberty to work towards a better whole instead of expecting it to be done for us.
But
like,
people don't believe individual liberty exists anymore. Like, people don't believe you should have a right to individual liberty. Like, the goal is to essentially destroy the Constitution.
You're not going to get an argument out of me on that.
All right, so let's go ahead and get out of here. I do want to leave with one thought from Color, Communism, Common Sense. I'm going to read this because I do encourage everyone to read it. This is from Chapter 5, Destroying the Opposition. And, they actually quote something right out of Baltimore, talking about how the communists were essentially trying to influence prominent Black people and prominent, outlets to essentially do their bidding or to promote the Communist Party. So they realized it was important to use them. So in some of these papers repeatedly appear open admissions that the Communist Party is the only party that advocates or fights for equal rights for Negroes and the right of self-determination for Negro people. This is why I believe Baltimore is the model city for the left. He cites he cited two of many examples of the reaction of the Negro press because lack of space. I shall quote or whatever. So no menacing Reds from the African American, a Baltimore newspaper. The Reds are going our way. Like ourselves, they represent a feared and hated cause. They are the first white group since emancipation to advocate race, social equality, and intermarriage for those who wish. In fact, there is more real Christianity among the white communists than in the white YMCA, the white Christian Endeavors societies, or the so-called Christian churches. The Reds are no menace to Negroes. In fact, it is comforting to find groups of such people as communists in this color mad world. And there were also Negro intellectuals, artists, professionals, politicians seeking a ladder to success. We see this in Baltimore City all the time. And that's why I think this is just churning. And Baltimore is just this model city for communism, and really a leader in the U.S. They are used according to the strategic needs of the Communist Party. In preparation for their treacherous role, the party passes along the word covertly or openly to give them preferred treatment. Let's think about Marilyn Mosby. Forces, money, publicity, etc., are used in the build-up to change comparative Negro unknowns into national and international race leaders.
I'd just like to point one thing out. The concept of communism is that there's no difference amongst anybody, that you're all the same, we're all exactly equal. That's not promoting individual freedom in any way. Like, that's the biggest lie that the Marxists tell us, is that they try and convince you that Marxism will allow you to be the freest you are. But the fact is we know historically that anytime Marxist ideas are implemented, it forces everyone to fit into the same box.
Yep.
So that in and of itself is the craziest hypocrisy to me, that they buy into that you'll be freer when you're forced to conform to a singular idea.
Yeah. So guys, we're going to wrap right there. I think that was a good last word. Gimpy, thank you for that. Yeah, so be sure again to like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff to Metro Conservative Media. Again, this is the Poppin' Politics After Show. Make sure you watch Poppin' Politics at live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And tomorrow we have the 8:30 show, 8:30 p.m. We're having our guest, Ethan Reese, who's a writer, conservative writer in Maryland. He's got stuff published for Outkick and some other places. So it should be a pretty interesting conversation. But again, check out the book. Click on the links, Total Twins, help support the channel. Also, the Color Communism, Common Sense, which we just read from. So make sure you take a look at that book too. Like, I am literally preaching from that book right now because it just like opened my eyes so much about how Black people are being used. At one point, particularly when I first came Republican, I didn't believe that Black people were oppressed in a sense. But after reading that book, there is a level of belief that I do think Black people are being oppressed, but not by the people they think they're being oppressed by. They are being oppressed. They're essentially being used. Black people are being used to bring in and to bring down America, when the answer to all of our issues is the foundational principles of America. So that's my spiel. All right. Anything else, guys?
Chad impresses me daily.
There we go.
I'll take that as a compliment.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Have a good night, you guys. Peace.